And of course, the normal way of things isn't normal yet. So we're not necessarily doing the things that we would normally have done with him.
The British monarchy is once again buzzing with whispers after a bold move from Prince William sent shockwaves through Buckingham Palace. In a twist no one anticipated, William has approved a dramatic title change for Duchess Sophie's children, a decision that reshapes not only their status, but the royal hierarchy itself. The palace is rattled, and though the story's truth may still be unfolding, it's thrilling to watch the reactions pour in, stirring debates of power, favoritism, and hidden agendas. But what drove William to make such a daring move, and what consequences now hang in the balance? For over 25 years, Prince Edward and his wife Sophie have quietly carried the weight of royal duty. They've been the monarchy's silent backbone, avoiding drama while earning deep respect through loyalty and grace. At first, they tried to balance royal life with private business ventures, but public scrutiny made that impossible. Abandoning the idea, they threw themselves fully into service, becoming two of the most dependable figures within the House of Windsor. Sophie in particular gained quiet but significant influence, forming a deep bond with Queen Elizabeth II, who admired her loyalty and composure. Their relationship was so strong that Sophie once called the Queen Mama in public, a small word, but one that spoke volumes. While she never chased fame like Princess Anne, Sophie carved out her own legacy through relentless dedication. She's traveled beyond palace gates and into some of the world's most dangerous regions, from South Sudan to the Democratic Republic of Congo and Sierra Leone, witnessing the suffering of women trapped in war. Her relentless fight against gender-based violence in these regions gave voice to the silenced and dignity to those who endured unimaginable pain. For her courage, she received the Hillary Rodham Clinton Award, joining the ranks of global humanitarians like Angelina Jolie. This recognition solidified her status internationally, and cemented her value within the royal family. Many now call her one of King Charles's greatest hidden strengths, his secret weapon in a monarchy constantly fighting to remain relevant and respected. But Sophie's influence doesn't end with her. The royal title system is a coded language of power and purpose, deciding who shines and who fades into the background. That's why Prince William's recent approval of new titles for Sophie's children has sent waves of speculation through the palace. James, once known as Viscount Severn, now carries the title Earl of Wessex, the same title his father once held. This isn't just ceremonial, it's a statement. It signals that James's future may be far more public and influential than expected. Meanwhile, Lady Louise, long one of the least visible royal grandchildren, is gradually stepping into the light, her appearances growing more deliberate, her presence more noticeable. The monarchy, facing uncertain years ahead, cannot survive on senior royals alone. Every generation must prepare its own soldiers of duty. Titles aren't mere ornaments, they're blueprints for the future. By approving this shift, Prince William may be revealing his vision of a monarchy built on loyalty over spectacle, one that rewards those who serve quietly but faithfully. Even with King Charles still reigning, William seems to be shaping the next era before it officially begins. His decision strengthens a branch of the family that has remained scandal-free and steadfast. The message is clear. The crown is evolving, investing in resilience and sincerity over fame and chaos. Sophie, once underestimated, now stands as a central pillar of the royal house, and her children are being positioned as the next quiet force of leadership. This isn't just about one family's rise. It's about a monarchy reinventing itself through subtle but seismic change. But why did Sophie choose to raise her children outside the royal spotlight in the first place? On her 60th birthday, she reflected on one of her most honest revelations: why she and Prince Edward decided against giving their children his or her Royal Highness titles, despite being entitled to them by birth. In a 2020 interview, Sophie explained that she and Edward wanted to give their children the freedom to live normal lives, unchained by royal expectations. Lady Louise, then 21, and James, now Earl of Wessex, were deliberately raised as the children of an earl, not as prince and princess. Sophie explained, "We try to bring them up with the understanding that they are very likely to have to work for a living." That statement stunned the public, a duchess encouraging her children to live like everyone else. Though technically eligible for royal styling, both Louise and James were raised to value independence over privilege. Sophie admitted that once they turned 18, they could choose to adopt their royal titles, but doubted they ever would. For her and Edward, this wasn't a denial of heritage, it was protection. They wanted their children to have freedom, to grow up grounded, educated, and responsible. Their modern parenting reflects the monarchy's slow shift away from expecting every royal to serve full-time. Instead, Sophie and Edward raised their children with humility and purpose. They attended regular schools, built friendships outside palace walls, and lived as normally as possible under royal circumstances. Sophie's parenting style earned her admiration for bringing humanity into royalty, showing that modern nobility doesn't need to be gilded in gold. Her simple statement summed it all up. They have them, the titles, and can decide to use them from 18, but it's highly unlikely. In that quiet line, Sophie revealed the heart of her philosophy, that choice and character matter more than titles. By stepping away from the grandeur of old traditions, she and Edward forged a new royal path, one that prizes authenticity over image. Could this be why her family now stands at the center of attention? Sophie's quiet power and her children's rise might just change everything. In a monarchy built on spectacle and scandal, Sophie has become the steady heartbeat no one expected. While the world obsesses over Charles, Camilla, William, and Catherine, Sophie remains unshaken, a symbol of strength and reliability. Queen Elizabeth once described her as her rock, and that title feels truer now than ever. When she and Edward were elevated to Duke and Duchess of Edinburgh, it wasn't a mere ceremony. It was a reward for decades of unwavering service. While other royals courted headlines and controversy, Sophie and Edward quietly became the monarchy's moral compass. Their rise marked a victory for discretion, loyalty, and quiet strength. Sophie's influence stretches far beyond her titles. Her children, Lady Louise and James, reflect her values of humility and balance. Louise, known for her poise and love of carriage driving like her grandfather Prince Philip, carries herself with grace that defies her youth. James, newly titled Earl of Wessex, is stepping into the public eye with composure that hints at future leadership. In an age where the monarchy is shrinking, William seems to be betting on Sophie's family to help carry the load. Lady Louise and James represent a new generation, one untouched by scandal and trained in dignity. Their upbringing wasn't shaped by fame, but by grounded discipline, a contrast to the flashier members of the royal circle. At the center of it all, Sophie embodies the monarchy's quiet resilience. She proves that true influence doesn't need headlines, it's built through integrity and action. Her work across war-torn regions and her calm presence within the palace have made her indispensable. Those close to her describe her as approachable, kind, and deeply loyal, traits that have become rare in royal life. Prince William's recent decision to elevate her children shows his recognition that the monarchy's future depends on figures like Sophie, and on the next generation she's raising with strength and grace. The message is clear. As the monarchy evolves, the crown will rely less on noise and more on character. Prince Edward and Sophie have built a reputation that's as solid as the palace walls themselves. Their early attempt to merge royal duty with private enterprise may have stumbled, but their decision to step back and dedicate themselves fully to service reshaped their legacy. Sophie became not just a royal wife, but a humanitarian powerhouse. Traveling to the world's harshest regions, she stood beside victims of violence and injustice, showing that compassion can be just as regal as ceremony. Her work earned her the Hillary Rodham Clinton Award and placed her alongside global icons like Angelina Jolie, proving she's more than a royal. She's a force for change. Commentators now call her King Charles's secret weapon. And with good reason. In a family often overshadowed by drama, Sophie's quiet influence has brought stability and substance when the monarchy needed it most. Her strength is in what she doesn't shout. She moves through the chaos with poise, reminding the world that leadership isn't about spectacle, it's about service. Together with Edward, she's shown that the crown's survival depends as much on the steady as on the spectacular. While others crumble under pressure, Sophie remains the calm center of a stormy dynasty. Her life is proof that sometimes the most powerful statement a royal can make is silence. But behind that silence, big questions are stirring. Is Prince William's decision to elevate Sophie's children part of a larger strategy? Could it be his way of tightening the monarchy's circle, preparing for a streamlined reign built on trust and loyalty? The British monarchy has always walked a fine line between tradition and transformation, but that line has never looked thinner than now. William's subtle maneuvers, like boosting Sophie's children, suggest a deliberate plan for a smaller, stronger royal core. In this new structure, every loyal figure counts. Meanwhile, King Charles faces the challenges of age and illness, and his reign, once anticipated as a new era, already feels like a passing phase. Queen Camilla works to secure her place in royal history, still battling public perception shaped by the ghost of Diana. Princess Anne remains tireless, the monarchy's most dependable workhorse, but even she cannot carry the institution forever, and so the focus shifts to William. Calm, strategic, and quietly building his own monarchy from the inside out. Each move he makes feels like a rehearsal for the throne, as if he's already shaping the crown's next chapter before it officially begins. Is this a master plan, or simply history forcing change upon the royal house? Either way, William's influence is undeniable. Britain today is not the Britain of Elizabeth II's early reign. It's younger, more critical, and far less forgiving. William knows this, and every calculated gesture suggests he's preparing to defend the monarchy not just as heir, but as architect. He's not waiting to lead. He's already leading in plain sight, and yet the truth of the monarchy is always half hidden. What the world sees may be theater, while the real story unfolds behind locked palace doors. Survival for the crown has always depended on mystery, and what remains unseen. Beneath the formality and smiles, the balance of power may already be shifting. The monarchy is changing, quietly but irreversibly. So whose crown will it be tomorrow? King Charles may still reign, but the pulse of the institution already beats to William's rhythm. Queen Camilla's influence seems to dim, while William's star only brightens. Every public appearance, every title adjustment, every subtle reshuffling hints at a monarchy being molded in real time. The crown isn't falling, it's transforming, recalibrating for the world ahead. Behind every polished photo and careful word lies a whisper, a hint that roles are shifting and history is being rewritten quietly, but with purpose. The greatest secrets of the royal family aren't sealed in vaults. They're happening right now before our eyes. And as the palace adjusts to this new rhythm, the question remains, how much longer until the transformation becomes impossible to hide? Change is already here, silent but unstoppable. The world watches, the crown whispers, and the future, William's future, draws closer every day. What do you think about Sophie's choice to keep her children out of the spotlight? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There's more royal truth to uncover.